Imagine waking up beneath the towering glow of the Erd tree. All around you, the world is falling apart. Cults worship death, flames devour entire lands, and the air hangs thick with the choking stench of scarlet rot. You've got no weapons, no plan, only the primal instinct to survive. And your first steps would be blind ones, because the greatest enemy you'd face might not even have a shape. The air itself could turn against you. The ground might swallow you whole. Every second would be a gamble. The question is, how far would you go to escape your mortal fate? Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe, because today I'm going to show you what it would actually take to survive in the world of Elden Ring. Let's start with the basics. Your body. In the lands between, it's your only real tool. But here's the harsh truth. Your body, the way it is right now, wouldn't last a single day. Let's break it down. First, there's scarlet rot. In the game, it's a plague that kills everything it touches. Imagine a mutant virus or flesh-eating bacteria drifting on the wind. Even with modern medicine, outbreaks like that are almost impossible to contain. Without antibiotics or immunity, the scarlet rot would seep into your bloodstream, invade your lungs, and crawl into your brain. Within hours, you'd be burning with fever. Your flesh would start to die, and delirium would set in. And in the medieval world of Elden Ring, there's no cure, no vaccines, no real hope. But say you somehow dodged the disease, you'd have another nightmare waiting. The brutal weight of combat. A standard medieval longsword weighs around 1.5 kilograms. Sounds light enough, right? But wielding one effectively takes years of training, raw strength, and endurance. Now picture the kinds of weapons tarnished warriors carry. Massive swords over 2 meters long, colossal warhammers, halberds that could knock down a horse. You probably couldn't even lift one of those weapons, let alone swing it in a real fight. And armor? A chainmail shirt alone weighs about 9 kilos. A full suit of plate armor can reach about 25 or even 30 kilos. Wearing that for hours would leave you exhausted, moving slower with every step. You'd become an easy target for any creature bigger than you, which, in this world, is almost everything. Maybe you're thinking you'd just run away, but there's a problem. A sprint burns anywhere from 40 to 60 calories per minute. In a constant state of fear and flight, your body could chew through 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, and that's without food or clean water. You'd collapse from exhaustion or starvation before you ever made it to the next safe place. And speaking of shelter, good luck finding any. The lands between throws you into freezing blizzards, searing deserts, toxic swamps. Without proper gear or shelter, you'd be fighting off hypothermia, heat stroke, or deadly dehydration in a matter of hours. But even all that isn't the worst part, because then there are the creatures. In real life, a lone wolf can kill a human easily. Now imagine facing beasts the size of lions, with claws like swords, or knights towering 3 times your height, eyes burning with molten metal. These monsters are fast, merciless, and impossibly strong. Dodging a blow? Practically impossible. Surviving? Even less likely. And ironically, those monstrous enemies might not even be your biggest problem, because in the lands between, the things that really kill you are the little details, the exhaustion grinding you down, the hunger gnawing at your gut, the chill of cold rain soaking through your clothes, the invisible infection lurking in the air. By the end of your first day, your body would be breaking down under the weight of it all. But even if you somehow held on physically, you'd still face a threat even deadlier: your own mind. Staying alive is one thing. Keeping your sanity intact is something else entirely. Humans evolved to handle predators, hunger, even the horrors of war. But our minds weren't built for the relentless nightmare that is the lands between. Think about fear. Not the quick jolt you get from a jump scare, but a deep, constant terror that never fades. Every rustle in the darkness might be your death approaching. Your body's response is the classic fight or flight surge. Adrenaline, pounding heart, sharpened senses. But that edge doesn't last forever. After hours or days, the adrenaline dries up. Mental fatigue sets in. You start making mistakes. Studies show that chronic stress destroys memory, slows your reflexes, and even messes with your coordination. You might freeze up at the exact moment you need to run. Then there's the loneliness. No friends, no routine, no familiar voices, just you and the silence. Prolonged isolation breeds paranoia, depression, and even hallucinations. The silence screams at you. Imaginary sounds feel real, and in the lands between, some of those whispers in the dark might actually be real. The constant uncertainty, not knowing if what you see is real or just your crumbling mind, slowly erodes your grip on reality. And what you'd see around you would only make things worse. Corpses rotting in the open, people transforming into monsters. Soldiers and medics in our world suffer trauma just from seeing violent death up close. In the lands between, the horror is on another level entirely. Your mind might begin to detach, floating above reality, leaving you numb and unable to react. And in a place like this, even a single moment of distraction could cost you your life. Then there's the Erd Tree itself, that towering, divine monument glowing like gold in the sky. It's beautiful, sure, but also a constant reminder of how small and powerless you are. It can fuel a sense of cosmic insignificance, driving people into nihilism, madness, or obsession. When death lurks behind every shadow, your brain switches into permanent alert mode. But human minds aren't built to stay in that state for long. Research on PTSD shows that such prolonged stress can physically damage parts of the brain responsible for memory and decision-making. Eventually, your mind either freezes or collapses entirely, and even sleep offers no escape. Your dreams become twisted echoes of what you've witnessed. Or worse, nightmares keep you awake, insomnia eats away at your strength, and hallucinations bleed into your waking hours until you can't tell what's real anymore. The truth is, the lands between isn't just a physical death trap. It's a psychological abyss. So, let's say you accept that surviving alone might be impossible. Maybe you'd look for safety in numbers. After all, humans are wired to survive better in groups. But in the lands between, joining a faction comes at a steep price. At first glance, the Golden Order might seem like a safe bet. They're all about laws, divine protection, and strict order. But that order only works if you obey without question. Any deviation, any hint of doubt, and you'd be branded a heretic. And as an ordinary human, you'd be little more than a servant, a disposable pawn in someone else's holy mission. Worse still, you might end up carrying out orders you don't even understand, all in the name of some greater will. Then there's the cult of the frenzied flame. They promise freedom, but the cost is setting the entire world on fire. If all seems lost, the idea of burning it all down might start sounding tempting. But the price is your sanity. Literally, their followers laugh, scream, sob uncontrollably, and eventually, they burn. Surviving among them would mean surrendering your mind and becoming a weapon without a conscience. The royal Carrion family offers knowledge, magical power, and prestige. Sounds safer, right? But they're crumbling from within, locked in endless political schemes and power struggles. Aligning yourself with them means becoming a pawn in a dangerous game where alliances shift overnight, and their potent sorcery, as powerless as it is perilous. One misstep could reduce you to a pile of ashes. Then you've got the Tarnished, wanderers seeking redemption or glory, seemingly without a leader, driven by their own desires. They might look free, but they're wildly unpredictable. Any ally could turn on you the second their goals change. And chaos seems to follow the Tarnished wherever they go. Monsters, gods, cataclysms. Where there's Tarnished, there's trouble. Think you'd be safer outside the big factions? You could try joining an isolated village or traveling merchants. There's temporary peace there, maybe even food and shelter. But those communities are fragile. One monster attack, a single raid, and it all vanishes overnight. You'd either die with them or find yourself fleeing into the wilderness alone. In short, every alliance in the lands between comes with a trade-off. Obedience, your sanity, temporary safety, but never true freedom. If you were dropped into the lands between tomorrow, what would you actually do? Your choices boil down to hiding, serving someone powerful, or trying to run. Hiding might feel like the safest route. If no one knows where you are, they can't kill you. But good luck staying hidden. Ruins might look empty, but often hide monstrous horrors. Forests offer cover, but they're crawling with predators and poisonous plants. And how would you eat? Drink? One wrong mushroom or a sip of water contaminated with scarlet rot could kill you in minutes. Serving someone powerful might work, trading your loyalty for protection. The Golden Order could always use new soldiers. Merchant caravans might pay for guides or labor. But one mistake, one moment of disobedience, and you're expendable. And what about running away, trying to escape beyond the borders of the lands between? It sounds tempting, but there's no promised land out there. Just more monsters, more danger, vast oceans you can't cross, and wild lands that might be even more deadly. Trying to flee might save you, or get you killed even faster. The best shot you'd have would probably be combining strategies. Hiding when you can, learning to gather food and water, identifying plants, moving quietly, making temporary alliances with other desperate travelers, and most importantly, knowing when to run and when to stay perfectly still. Because in the lands between, survival isn't living, it's just delaying the inevitable. Surviving in the lands between isn't about being a hero. It's about being stubborn, resilient, lucky. You're not the chosen one. You're not some legendary tarnished, destined to slay gods. You just be a human, struggling to take one more breath in a world that seems determined to wipe you out. So the question is it worth it? Would you sacrifice your humanity, your sanity, even your soul, just to keep going one more day? Or would you accept your fate with dignity and refuse to become the very monster you fear? Tell me in the comments, if you found yourself in the lands between, what would you choose? Fight, flee, or hide? And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into the science behind your favorite games and characters.